So this is our second webinar of the series of webinars that we have prepared with Elena on growing your visibility and your personal brand as a coach. This topic is extremely important. It has been always important, but nowadays, especially because a lot of businesses are moving now online, and what we see from our experience working with clients, that people really don't understand very often how to start getting visible, how to go there into the world, transmitting their professional skills, their personal skills, their business, and how actually to use all those opportunities that we have nowadays to have those opportunities helping them grow their business. Here is the agenda of our today's webinar. Our first webinar was mostly on introducing what the personal brand is. The very first steps were explained how to grow your visibility. And this is the second webinar, which is the logical step into diving a bit deeper into the fundamentals of your personal brand. So we will speak about our competences, we will speak about steps actually to get ready, about our story, about who is our audience. We will speak a bit about storytelling, and we will give you the working instruments that you will be able to apply right after finishing this webinar to start working on building your presence and start working on building your personal brand.
And we have several good news regarding branding in new normal. In our today webinar, we won't talk about the image in terms of color of your business card or your dress code. We will really go deep and see how to build the brand based on your individuality, your personality, on who you really are, and combining it with your expertise.
Mm-hmm. And maybe I will add one thing. The colors, your branding from the point of view of your image is also very important. But what matters even more now is your personality, because it's the first impression what people have about you. It's you as an expert and as a person, because nowadays people buy from people, and it's already like the universal truth. Colors, business cards, they come as a complementary thing, but the most important thing about personal brand now is your essence as a professional and as a person. And we will just introduce shortly ourselves for those who don't know us. My name is Marina Vishnikova. I'm an entrepreneur, business and leadership coach. I'm also a business coach at Kaplan Professional, at one of the biggest companies which is working in the educational professional field. I'm also marketing and professional and personal branding consultant, and I have 23 years of experience in project management, business development, and marketing and sales. In addition, I lived in 7 countries. I work in 3 languages. I was featured in the book Outstanding Biographies of Our Women Entrepreneurs here in Spain, in Barcelona, where I live now. I'm an international speaker at different online and offline events, including 2 last events of International Coaching Federation, which was ICF Converge 19 in Prague last year and ICF Business Development Series. And in addition, I volunteer as a coach at the Humanitarian Coaching Network, where we work with leaders from humanitarian organizations like United Nations.
Thank you, Marina, for introduction. And I think you were lucky to be able to speak in Converge 19 in person, because I think this year it will be online.
Yeah, it's online this.
Yeah, so that's why it's just even more important nowadays to know really how to make yourself visible online. So I will introduce myself, Irina Ivanushkina. I am leadership development expert, executive coach, and mentor in ASA Business School here in Barcelona, certified PCC by ICF. I'm coming from corporate background from Danone and Microsoft, and my first business was a headhunting agency. Then I'm working with U.S. Agency for International Development. It's part of American government, as a part of their coaching team. I'm a accredited trainer with IATA as well, and I was expat in 5 countries, and working with my clients in speaking 5 languages and working in 4 languages. So we can do the competition with Marina, who did 7 countries. So together, I think we really can give you complete worldwide approach to personal brand. Okay. And so to start, we can have a look what does it mean to have a strong personal brand. Brand is not happening by chance. However, everybody have a personal brand if we consider it as how others see us. Of course, they have their own perception, but the difference between weak or spontaneous personal brand and conscious brand, when we really put an effort to develop it, is huge in terms of the results. So in spontaneous personal brand, we don't have clear strategy, we don't have the grow approach, we are not maybe wide well known, and it takes actually years to get the results. So if we approach to it strategically, understanding our differentiation point, all the actions would be aligned in order to amplify the brand and it gives us completely different results in terms of business, in terms of audience we touch. We can grow from like 100 followers to 100,000 followers. So we can scale up the business, so it open a whole new opportunity.
And maybe I will add one thing here, Elena, because for example, I had some clients who would ask me, look, I'm a professional already. I have a lot of expertise, and actually I think that I have already a brand. I have clients. And when we start checking that with that person, what he realized at that moment that yes, he has clients, but he has 10, 15 clients as a coach. But what happens with building your personal brand is when you do that, you get much greater exposure actually to your potential clients and to your potential audience, because clients and audience is not the same thing. We will speak about this later. And when you start really working strategically on your personal brand and on your visibility, you scale much quicker, and not in arithmetical, but in geometrical progression. The number of customers that you reach, the number, the audience in general that you reach. So this thing about spontaneous and conscious personal branding is really a very important thing, and you need to be aware of that.
Great. Okay, so what are the steps to purposefully build your brand? Let's have a look. First step is define your competencies. So really understanding what are you going to brand, what you're going to offer. You can, as a first step, list the main competencies you consider you're strong at. And when you do that, focus on what problem you are solving and not on your profession. For example, if you work for the company in purchasing departments, instead of calling yourself expert in purchasing, which is not referring to the problem you can solve, use expert in optimization of purchasing processes, expert in building partnership with suppliers, expert in reducing supply chain risks. So identify the area where others might need you to get specific results. So if we talk about coaches, I don't know if you've tried to type in LinkedIn coach in the search. Nowadays, if you type, you have 5,840,000 results. So that's where we need really to have a clarity about what are your competencies, what are your expertise, how you are different from others, and how you're going to help your clients. Or here I have an example of, again, coming from LinkedIn, life and career coach, which is extremely broad. And I think if we do the search by that, we would have maybe 1 million of results. So think about specific areas you can have an expertise and combine it with your coaching as a method or way to get to specific results for the clients. Another things we can say about expertise and competencies, that you can have one main area and define complementary areas if needed. Sometimes it's easy to list your expertise or competencies and then identify the global umbrella to put it inside so that you can communicate this global umbrella as your brand message. In my case, I choose an umbrella of leadership developments in coaching, and under this umbrella, I have personal branding. I have helping leaders build their high-performing teams and helping them to impact organizational culture. But all that is leadership development. Another point which is extremely important when you list your competencies is to validate them if you are passionate about them. Because sometimes if we pick something we're really good at, but it's not the area of our interest, we won't be able on a long run to promote it with enthusiasm, with the eyes, you know, which are really sparkling, because you need to have the energy to transfer your passion, your brand, your message to people. So think about how it's correlate with the what you are naturally interested in. And then decide what are you going to promote. Sometimes I know people that it's so hard for them to decide that they procrastinate and they are not communicating about their brand because just there are several areas. So don't worry about it. Your brand can evolve. You can start with something and then change it. Actually, here we have example of Simon Sinek. You probably know him very well because of his "What is your why?" concept. He gave a TED talk about it. He became extremely known, and look, now he completely evolved his brand. So now it's Simon Sinek corporate. He's founder and visionary, and he's talking about very different topic. However, he chose the narrow topic to become known, because this is clearly the easiest way. The more narrow is your niche and the message, the more easily you can be number one in that, and then you can expand or evolve.
And here I would like to give you a practical example of actually how you can define your competencies. This is my own example from my own table that I have done for myself to define my competencies. Because what happens here, I have 23 years of professional experience, and I've done so many things in my professional life that actually sometimes I think I can do everything, you know. Professionally, I can solve whatever problem, I can develop whatever business, I can do everything. But what I did for myself to define my competencies, what I would like actually to put like the major one in order to send the right message to my audience, and in order to reach precisely the audience that I want to reach, is I wrote down all my achievements. Here you see just 3 lines of my table. It's much longer. So I pointed out all my achievements that I have reached during all my professional life. In addition, I specified in what industry I was working in those times, so to understand how it all comes together. And I also defined the competencies that I used, the major ones, in order to have those achievements in the past. When I was working as an employee, my major competencies were market research, business development, marketing strategy, events organization, team management, and project management. When I moved to grow in my own coaching and consulting business, it was already another thing. So I went online. I was there building and developing and growing and improving my marketing strategy using social media and different online platforms that we have available. In the end, what I did, I just wrote for myself the major themes, and the major themes came together to building visibility. In the beginning, I was building visibility from zero for the company for which I worked as a business development director for more than 10 years. And then I was building visibility for myself as an expert, as a coach, as a consultant first, and then as a coach. And this strategic approach and all the knowledge and all the experience that I've had during those 23 years actually allowed me to scale my visibility, to scale my personal brand in my niche. After just being for 1.5 years working as a coach, I was invited to speak at the ICF event, which is actually the biggest professional event for coaches, and it was because of doing that strategically, of being ready for that, of preparing the information, reaching out to them, etc., etc. So this is what I would like to invite you to do. If you want, you can take a screenshot or a picture of this table. And after we finish the webinar, you can take some time and just work on that. Work on that, focusing on all your achievements. Don't be shy. Really write down everything that you have achieved in your professional career. And then think what competencies you were using to get to those achievements and to have those achievements. And then just think what you can do, how you can position yourself, what are your major competencies that you would like to be known for, that you would like to use in order to help your customers and your audience reach their goals.
Okay, so now we move to a very important component of building personal brand, which is defining your brand vision.
Elena, I'm sorry.
Yes.
May I just say one thing here? I would like colleagues, before we start speaking about your vision, just let us know in the chat, how clear are you about your personal brand vision, about the vision that you have as a professional? On the scale from 1 to 10, 1 being almost no vision and 10 being the highest, just feel free to let us know in the chat. Just very curious about that.
Okay, so why creating the vision is extremely important points. So I see the answers, 5, 6, 7, 9.5. Michelle, congratulations, this is great. So imagine if we look at this apple tree and you are here, and if you don't have the vision, every time you move on the crossroad of decision making, you do it from short term, means you think from what is available now. But if you create your vision, then even like for 5 or 10 years, even from points of now, it will guide you which decision to take on the daily basis, because you know the direction. Otherwise, if you follow the branches, you never arrive where the apple is. And so how could you define the vision? It can be done in the form of point of excellence. So if I would develop my brand from like 0 or 5, I'm here where I'm here now, to 10, what this 10 would mean. If you're on the top of your desirable dreams, or you get at the level where you want to be. How it look like. So there is no one recipe. For someone, it can be, I want to be a founder of startup. For someone, it would be getting the coach award, best coach of the year. Someone would like to be a author of the book, best-selling book, CEO of the company where you're employed for the moment, and so on and so forth. So this is very important to define that. Why? So why it's important? Because when you start to benchmark yourself with your competitors, which is one of the steps we go when we build the brand, you benchmark yourself not with the situation you are now in the way to become someone, but you benchmark yourself from the position of your vision. So from this vision, who are my competitors now? How I can learn from them, and how I can compare myself to them and integrate it into my brand strategy. So that's why it's very important thing to get. So once you've done that, next step is to add your personality. We were talking about it at the beginning of the webinar. This is a clear trend now, and I'm really happy, and that's why I'm so fascinating to share with you this latest approach to brand building. It become more and more personal. Before, maybe someone had a negative vision of personal branding as pretending to be someone you are not, about beautiful image photoshopped with brand message which is photoshopped as well, and it's not the way things are working now. Now the key of personal brand is to show who you really are. Show your values, personal traits, not necessarily only your strengths, but as well your weaknesses, because that's how audience connects to you and attracted by your message. The most interesting trend is really tell your personal stories. We will talk in a minute about it. And tell to people how you overcome either your difficulties or your problems, how you found the solution. Because if we are talking about the content, we can Google nearly anything, but your personal experience in how you get where you are, or what you've went through and how it helped you to shape your identity or to get to become successful in what you do. This is really what audience is attracted by. So we can imagine the layers of the brand. We start with external one, which is more professional attributes, expertise, experience, skills, product itself, the audience, the niche, and then we go to your essence, who you are, what you would like to share with others. Again, here there is a difference between identity, so your self-image, and what you project as a brand, because you choose strategically from like whatever you have to share, those things which are supporting your brand. And for example, I speak Czech, but since there is no relation to my brand really, or with what I do, I'm not talking much about this fact. So you really select what is contributing to amplify your brand. And here we can see a metaphor of the recipe of the dish. So imagine that your brand is the dish you need to cook. You have the ingredients, and then you need to know the recipe, so particular sequence of actions you need to take to really get a successful brand, okay? And here is an example of how you show your personality to the world. Here is screens from LinkedIn of Anna Botín, who is CEO of Banca Santander here in Spain. And you can see that even in LinkedIn, she shares pretty personal things sometimes. Her picture in the childhood on the Mother Day. Or another example is that she's praising her frontline employees who are who were doing the help desk during the COVID, and she called them by the name, and this is the company of 10,000 employees. So she shows her values of personal approach, of value people work, of value of family life. So there are a lot of messages in those communications. And if I think now about Santander, so I follow Anna on LinkedIn, and I see her messages on a regular basis, the image of the bank in my eyes change over time, because now it's not like an unknown huge company, but really a person with her ups and downs, with her family life, with her human relations, and I perceive the bank differently because of that.
And what happens is that actually transmitting your message is not the first thing that you need to do in order to start working on your visibility and on your personal brand. The initial work is the work which is not visible, and is the work that requires time, preparation, and strategic approach. And the actual steps to get ready to transmit your personal brand to the world and to start growing your visibility, we have put on this slide. And first of all, you need to assess yourself and what is your starting point. This is really a very simple thing. You need to check what you can find about yourself on Google. You can speak with your customers, you can speak with your friends, and understand who you are as a brand, as an expert, and as a professional. The second thing is just going deep into your competences and crystallize your area of expertise and your point of excellence. Create that vision that you will be at 10, understanding your future vision as a brand and as an expert. The next one is creating your credibility. Those are the facts and reasons to believe. This is knowing how to describe yourself as a brand just in one phrase to reach your audience, your potential audience, your ideal audience. It's knowing how to define your values, personality traits, and actually know how to write your story, because your story is what matters a lot. And we will speak about this. Because what happens with the story, when people look for experts, or for example, when somebody is looking for a coach, what comes here? You can post a lot of professional information, but there is a lot of information out there. People just can go and Google, and they will find not only your information, but they will find a lot of information on a very competent pages, I don't know, Huffington Post, whatever, there is a lot of information. But when it comes to deciding who is the coach I would like to work with, people look at your story. And your story doesn't need to show all your personal life. You don't need to do that. You need to be very wise, you need to be very aware, and you need to be very strategic about what you want to show and how you want to position yourself as a coach or as an expert, a professional, a freelancer. Then it's actually the necessity to formulate key messages, statements, and unique value proposition for your brand as an expert, as a coach, as a professional. It's identifying your audience, target audience and extended audience, and refine your niche. This is also very important because you really need to understand to whom you are speaking, to whom you are sending your message, and whom you want to attract. And then it's actually choosing your main and complementary channels for promoting your brand and having your content plan ready.
Just wanted to really encourage yourself, look at it as a recipe, because this is really the sequence of the steps you need to do, because sometimes people jump to the last part of promoting without being clear on all the points above, and they diluted their energy in communicating inconsistently to the wrong audience. And therefore, so it's not working for the brand. And regarding the niche, I wanted to give my example. When I started as a coach, I was looking without doing all those exercises, if I would know that 7 years ago. So I decided to pick the niche of intercultural coaching because of my experience in different countries and with different languages and with different nationalities. When I worked for Danone, I was responsible for 15 countries in Europe. So like international peace was always present in my life. So I decided to do it a niche, and I spent a lot of time and efforts before realizing that it's too narrow first, and second, that it's not really a pain for people, because this is very important to understand the cultural differences when you're a leader and you're working with different nationalities. However, it's not a standing alone problem. You would take the coach and work specifically. It can happen, of course, but it's not what gives you 100% of business and big pool of clients. I still do it, but in the bigger framework of leadership development, when we talk about what is global leaders, what is lead internationally, sometimes we discuss those topics, but it's not standing alone niche.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe I will add my example here as well, because I'm a coach as well. I'm a certified coach, ACC. And what I did, you remember that table that I showed you in the very beginning of this presentation. I don't position myself just as a coach, you know, because if I would write there that I'm a business coach, there are so many, there are thousands, maybe millions of business coaches. I position myself as the person who helps to scale visibility, personal brand in order to scale and grow your business and grow your income. So definitely I do it by a coaching approach. Definitely I do it by a consulting approach because I have a lot of experience in this field. But when I position myself, I don't say, when people ask me what you do, I don't say I'm a business coach, because in this way, I'm just one of many. But I want to be the one that would reach the audience that I want actually to reach. And
so yeah, actually, sorry, Marina, I just wanted to add here, one of the ways of really check whether your niche and positioning is right, ask yourself a question: can I potentially become number one in this niche? So if you position yourself as a coach, and we saw this 5 million and something coaches presented in LinkedIn, then it would be difficult. So then when you narrow it down, shift the focus to the problem solving, then it becomes more realistic.
Yes, and what we decided to do with Elena is to organize a very intensive challenge. Intensive maybe is the word that will threaten you, but it will not be like this. It will be a fun approach to actually helping people start building their visibility and their brand, following these exactly steps that we actually doing and have done for ourselves, you know, but we constantly working on our personal brand as well. We are constantly working also on our visibility, though we have people who are reaching us and inviting us to speak. We have customers whom we actually are not looking for any longer. We have customers, but we're still trying to really be very precise, very clear, and very strategic on how we appear to our audience. And in September, on 7th of September, we will be running a challenge where we will be helping people who would like to join every day, giving up to 20 minutes live classes in a closed group in Facebook, where we'll be explaining the exact step and giving you the details, the exact information, and the roadmap, what you need to do. Assess yourself, how exactly you need to do to get the clear answers. Go deep with your competences and crystallize your area of expertise. We will give you exercises. We will give you the exact things that you need to do in order to get the clear answer for yourself, to have it ready, then to step out to the world. And during this challenge, what we want to do is to really help you understand that it's not an overwhelming thing to work on your personal brand. Because I had people who would tell me, look, another thing that I need to do, more things that I need to work on. Yes, but just imagine, just make it for yourself as a game and think, what can I do where I can arrive as a person who has a personal brand? Put that really great vision, make that, I don't know, dream.
Inspiring. Yeah.
Yes, yes, just inspire yourself with your vision and make it a challenge for yourself. What I can do through my personal brand. I'm a great professional, I'm a great expert, and I'm a nice and great person. And how I can combine all that to
And
really
let
reach
others know.
that
Yeah.
image. Yes, so make it fun for yourself. Don't take it as a boring and overwhelming task. No, make it fun. And if you would like to join us in the challenge, then we will give you more information afterwards.
It can be as well seen as a self-development process, because you never actually reach, even we are talking about the vision, but life is changing our vision of ourselves and what we want changing as well. But this is a self-development tool, and you can really benefit yourself as a person, becoming a better version of yourself through this journey.
And now what we would like to do is we would like to cover the next big topic of our webinar is your story, because your story helps and allow you to show yourself not only as a professional but also as a person. And people, as I've mentioned, are not now interested that much in the content when they go to certain experts and professionals. They're interested in their story. They see how they relate to those experts and professionals. And actually the story will help you to set you apart from all other coaches or from all other experts and professionals. Let's start our journey. Before starting thinking about your story, what I would like to invite you to do is to think about your audience. And what happens here is our audience doesn't only limit to our customers. Our customers is a part of our audience, of our potential audience, of our target audience. But in general, it's much broader and it's much bigger. Here we have two examples. Who is the audience for coaches? First of all, definitely, it's clients and coaches. I missed one E here. Then it's other coaches and experts with whom you can collaborate and with whom you create partnerships, with whom you can work together. Then they can be recruiters for freelance projects, because there are people there browsing social media, and this is actually how Kaplan found me. They came to me via social media, inviting me to go for the interview to check and see if I can become a business coach for their company. Afterwards, your audience, if you would like to really grow your visibility, if you would like to be visible and to reach even greater audience, it's summits and events organizers. Now, we all go online, right, with the current situation, but there are a huge number of events going on online now, and they really give a great access to the audience, because there are people there constantly learning. There are people there looking for inspiration, looking for motivation, looking for words of wisdom. So summits and events can be a great way actually to promote yourself and to find new audience, new customers. Then podcasters and bloggers is also the audience for you if you would like to grow and if you would like to reach the wider audience. Then mass media and TV as well. All this is our audience, and we need to focus on all this audience in order to understand how we create our story and how we can really touch this audience with this story. The same about employees' audience. If you work as an employee in the company now, first of all, your audience is your colleagues, right? Because somehow, even especially if you are a manager, if you are a leader, you are influencing them. And they are your potential audience who is learning from you, getting inspired from you, getting motivated, getting some knowledge, skills, whatever. Then human resources department and management is also your audience. So you need to be very wise and very strategic on how you position yourself and how you create your personal brand in order to get promoted, in order the chief of human resources to come to you and offer you a better position, a salary rise, etc. Then recruiters, if you are willing to choose actually to change your job, and if you are looking for a better job, recruiters are also your audience. Then people with similar positions from other companies, your colleagues, but from other companies and corporations, they're also your audience, because you can be a leading example for them, and you can become that leader who will somehow be known and can influence all other colleagues that there are there on your professional market. Again, we come to mass media and podcasters because they can come to you and ask you to give interview, to, I don't know, share your story. Then events and summits organizers. And this way, if you build your personal brand and if you build your visibility, this will be a huge plus, a huge advantage to you as an employee in the eyes of your company, actually.
Here, why it's important to list your audience really well, because it can be a topic of another webinar, but you create the points of contact, because connecting with each audience, you can do it strategically and defining the messages and the objective of this connection to do it really impactfully.
So why your story matters. Here I will give you just an overview. You know that your story is actually your huge competitive advantage. There is no other money, there is no other Blagovest, there is no other John in the market. You are unique, and your story is your competitive advantage. Just have it really clear to yourself. Your story is an important part of your marketing strategy, because preparing your story strategically will help you then to craft your marketing strategy, and good marketing strategy will allow you to scale your business, to scale your income, to have even greater impact as a professional and as an expert. Your story builds trust, because if you really tell a good story, and I will give you afterwards the components of a good story, then people start trusting you, and there is nothing greater than building trust with your audience. Through your story, you can really create loyalty of your customers and of your audience. Then your story explains your bigger purpose, because you are there actually to tell your story and to tell who you want to become, where you are moving, what you want to achieve. Your story differentiates you from the competition. Well, it coincides with the competitive advantage, but anyway, it's a competitive advantage, and it differentiates you clearly from the competition. People who will have the same feeling for you will come to you and hire you as a coach. Then they go to another person who doesn't tell any story, because, for example, when you go on Instagram, you see their different accounts. And I don't understand why many coaches just post their motivational phrases or, I don't know, landscape pictures, and that's it. If you compare two accounts, a person who is just posting motivational pictures and another coach who is telling the story, who is giving examples, who is engaging with the audience, and you really need to choose a coach you want to work with, to which coach will you go? And with which coach will you start conversation? With a no face, no name coach with landscape pictures, or with the coach who is there visible with the face? You see how he or she speaks, you see the values, you see the ideas that he shares. This is really very important.
It's important to be sincere in your stories, because what people are tired of is successful success. So communicating the story that I was great, now I'm great, and tomorrow I will be great. You are not engaging with the audience. What audience is looking for to see another human who has problems, shortcomings, gaps, difficulties, but despite all of that, he or she is getting to the point and giving something to the world. So if you are able to introduce that in your story, that's where you create real engagement with people.
Absolutely. Here are just 7 basic plots of storytelling. I will tell you what are the plots that are used mostly in storytelling for professionals. This is Overcoming the Monster, Rags to Riches. This is very widely used. The Quest, Voyage and Return. In my process of building my visibility, I started using the Quest. This is how I built my presence at the Spanish speaking market, where I have 17,000 people following me on Instagram, then 61,000 on Pinterest, and more than 3 million. And this is how I introduced my story. I was telling about situation in my professional life and explaining the solutions that I was using, finding, discovering how to solve all those obstacles that were along my
Sorry.
way. And actually, yes, this was so interesting to my audience that if you check my Spanish account, you will see huge engagement there, and you will see that people are always there commenting, asking me questions. So this is a great way. Now I am doing the same in my English profile in Instagram, because since I spoke at ICF Converge, I got really big coverage at the international market, and I decided to go to the English-speaking professional world as well. So just if you want an example, you can check our Instagrams as well, and you will see how we are trying to do it there. The key elements of the appealing brand story. These are the elements that came out of our experience. Okay, tell your real story. Don't lie, because lies always come out. Be really authentic. There is no need to be more clever, more beautiful, wiser. Be strategic, yes, but be authentic. Create an intrigue. Really, this is the storytelling method, but there is nothing bad about this. It's not manipulation, it's an intrigue. When you tell people, look, I had this, and this is how actually I could solve that, and through your solution, you're also giving value to your audience, explaining them and showing them that things are possible. And many more things, that you can really give them through your story and through creating this intrigue and information. Provoke emotions, because if you just write there some 3 sentences, I went there, I did this, it will not be a story. Story is the story when it has emotions, when it provokes emotions in other people, when it provokes thoughts, when it provokes ideas. This is really very important. Then communicate the problem that you solve in your story. This is how you will help other people to see that, as I mentioned, things are possible, and it will also give them insights on how they can solve their problems if they have similar situations. Then tell your story in a simple but vivid way. Don't overcomplicate. Mention trustworthy details and facts. If you really had some huge achievements in your past, don't hide it. Mention it. This also can be a huge motivation for your audience, or a huge fact that will, for example, help you reach, I don't know, podcast creators or summit organizers that will think, okay, this is the topic that we would like to have speakers on, and this is the problem that we would like to explain. Thus, this way you will have an opportunity to be featured on mass media, because this is the problem that you have already solved, and these are the achievements that you have already achieved. Tell about them, and there is a possibility to get more visible thanks to that. Then build credibility. Definitely, this also coincides with tell your real story. Don't lie to your audience. Show your bigger purpose and culmination. Explain people what you are aiming at, who you want to become as an expert, as a professional, how you are working on yourself, right, to reach that bigger purpose. I would like to give you just an example. This is the customer, and I have her permission to show all this, how she actually could grow her business and scale her visibility, her business, just in several months. This person came to me through Pinterest, actually. Then she came to my Instagram, and then she messaged me. And it resulted that she lives not far from me here, so we could meet in person and work in person. She came to me in January of 2020 after having her business. It's a luxury natural cosmetics brand here in Spain. She came to me with 300 followers, and she did practically nothing to build her visibility. She had a couple of pictures of herself in the profile, but in those pictures, she would just either she post her picture and write about her cream, or she will post a picture and will write in the third person saying, Elena suggests doing something. That's it. I suggested her to start working on this and just to see how it goes. And I suggested her to put her personality and her personal brand as an expert in the head of her business. She told me no, that she was scared, that she will never do that because she's not there, you know, to do silly things on Instagram, because she is the owner. Then we spoke with her and I explained to her that actually if we look at the professional cosmetics brand, there is somebody, a person, an attractive character behind every brand. And if you don't have money to pay for Scarlett Johansson or for Penelope Cruz, become yourself, that attractive person. And this is the only way that I see to save your business and to save your brand. So she also came to my 21 days challenge that I was running when we had a lockdown here in Spain. And she was there together with almost, I had 297 people participating in that challenge. And I was insisting on those people going online, on starting speaking with their audience, starting telling the story of their company, their business, their brand, become more personal, become more visible. And she was the person who actually, I wrote about this on Instagram. She sent me a message and then she called me and said, Marina, I don't understand why you are telling us to do all this. This is really a silly thing to do now because all people are shocked. All people are now depressed, in crisis. Nobody will go on Instagram. Nobody will watch our stories and it will be a waste of time. I told her, just try it. Just try it. Don't get obsessed with the lockdown that we have here. Go and work on your Instagram. This will be much better than going there stressed out, you know, with the lockdown and that we need to stay at home and the virus that is flying around us. So she was resisting, but then she did it. And these are the results. These are just some of the results. The most interesting slide will come afterwards. Since then, she more than doubled the number of her followers just in 6 months. And for 2 years, she was hardly having 300 followers there. She started using her personality. She started telling her story instead of just posting their catalog descriptions and pictures from the catalog. She grew the engagement. People are speaking to her, her customers. First of all, she got sales, and then she got people who were sharing actually her products, how they use her products. She got testimonials, and it's like a snowball, you know? When you start, it's growing and getting bigger. Then she got new brand ambassadors, people who are really famous here in Catalonia, who are now promoting her cosmetics just because they saw her on Instagram. She got new collaborations and she is having really feedback and support from her customers and from her audience. And then if we go to the next slide, here are just the pure numbers. If you check her pictures, similar pictures, right? First of all, it's picture of her, well, when she's speaking about herself in third person, giving just some advice, and then a photo of her product. It's before starting working with me. You will see 30 likes, 22 likes, no comments. Well, in the first one, there are 3 comments, 2 of them are of her own. And this is what happened in February and then in May. First of all, it was the video showing how to use her natural soaps. And she has here 481 views plus comments. And here, when she started to tell actually her story, it was her first post, which is, if we say it in English, here is how we started. She has 173 likes and then 35 comments. There is a huge difference taken into account that she has been in the market for 2 years already. This is just the example that I wanted to give you to show I will not even, I have my own example and I know that it works, but this is the example of my customer where you can also check and see clearly with numbers, and you can go to her account and just have a look. If you are interested how all have changed for this person when she started to put her personality first, and when she started to work on her visibility and then growing her personal brand as the owner of the company and as an expert.
Yeah, here you can find our contact details. So we'll be happy to connect with you via LinkedIn. You can use the barcode, and via Instagram or WhatsApp. It will be really a pleasure to be connected and maybe know a bit better about our participants.